But it's actually this next sentence I think is the worst.
If you love our milk and honey, if you love our milk and honey, if you love our milk and honey.
Don Cherry's rude comments about immigrants in Canada wearing poppies.
You love our way of life, you love our milk and honey, at least you could pay a couple of bucks for poppies or something like that.
Was it uncalled for? Was it un-Canadian? Let's dig into it. In case you haven't been following Canadian news or you're not in the loop, Don Cherry is a Canadian hockey commentator, and he said this.
You love our way of life, you love our milk and honey, at least you could pay a couple of bucks for poppies or something like that.
There are a lot of Canadians who watch this channel. It's my first demographic, but my second demographic is from India and around the world. A significant amount of people who watch this channel are international students and people who want to come to Canada and are wondering about this. Some people are worried, some don't know about it, some don't care. But what I want to do is condense what he said and why I think it's bad. There are two different schools of thought on this. Some people believe that, hey, he wasn't talking about immigrants, or he didn't mean what he said, or maybe he was just spitting the truth and there was nothing harmful in what he was saying. Other people have taken to social media and have been saying it's terrible. He has absolutely blamed immigrants for everything, and it's just a heartbreaking thing that happened, and it's dangerous. The language and the rhetoric that he used is absolutely dangerous. I'm kind of level-headed about this. I'm not super offended and blown away by his comments, but at the same time, I do think they were out of place. I think they were untasteful, and I think he could have been more articulate about what he was saying. So let's break it down step by step. What were the first words he used?
You people love, you that come here, whatever it is, you love our way of life.
You people, you come here, whatever it is, you love our way of life. But when he says you people, you come here, I'm assuming he means somebody that comes from somewhere else. He's not referring to himself. He's not referring to his immediate family. If his immediate family is from Canada, he is talking about people who come from somewhere else. But it's not even the you people comment that got me personally, because I hear you people all the time. I just see it as, incorrect. It's politically incorrect, but I don't get offended by it. It's like when people use an incorrect term, I just assume they're not educated. As a sports commentator who has been on television for decades, somebody Canadians proclaim as a legend, I expect him to use better language, but at the same time, he's an older guy. Perhaps he has not been briefed either by his media team or learned the correct language and terminology to use. Okay, you people, whatever, we'll overlook the you people thing, but it's actually this next sentence I think is the worst.
If you love our milk and honey, if you love our milk and honey, if you love our milk and honey.
I think that's the worst thing that was said, because I honestly think immigrants come here and that they stimulate our economy and that they make it a better place. And I think that we have skilled immigration programs, and I trust that our government is tweaking them and making them better to bring the cream of the crop. The best people from all countries around the world, because every country I have been to, every country I have known people from in the world has had amazing people. And like everywhere, there are bad people in Canada, there are bad people all over the world. And you don't want to bring them to your country to become a skilled worker. Common sense. But I do think that immigrants have the potential to do great things for our country. Our population is just approaching 40 million. Okay, so our population is smaller than the population of the state of California. Yet, we have the second biggest country by landmass on the entire planet. So if you're going to expect us to have, a massive booming economy in comparison to what it could be, you're absolutely wrong. We're still one of the largest economies in the world, being in Canada, and we're very lucky with such a small population to sustain that. We have natural resources. We're growing. We're a young nation. So we have a lot of things that we can do if we bring skilled people who might even have money in their own countries to our country to stimulate the economy, add skills to jobs that are lacking it, and really grow it. This rhetoric from Don Cherry, as you come here and you enjoy our honey, at least buy a poppy, is really positioning immigrants as people who don't have anything to offer to Canadian society. And I think that is, again, I'm not going to turn around and say that is what he was trying to say. I don't think that was what he was trying to say, but buried in his language and having spoken to, so many people around the world and being a brown person myself with parents who are immigrants, I do have a feeling that he does not perceive immigrants as skilled people who are boosting the economy. Through those comments, that's not what I glean. If I had to tell you, if I had to give you a yes or no answer by listening to what he said here, and in other instances, I've watched tons of his interviews. He wants Canada to be a strong nation that, stands up to other countries and that, all right, I get it, but Canada is not a kid in a schoolyard. Canada is a nation. It has complexities. It has gray area parts. It has cogs that make it what it is. It's not as black and white as a stand strong as a nation and fight everybody who gets in your way. That's not the way that our country works. That's not how you run a nation. Do I think Don Cherry should have been fired? Not necessarily. I don't think so. I think he's a little bit obsolete. Canadians are going to hate me for saying that. Hockey lovers are going to absolutely hate me for saying that. And you know what? I understand. If you're a hockey lover and you love Don Cherry, I get it. As a commentator, as somebody, in the public modern media, I don't think he fits. And even if he does fit now with a niche market, or even a fairly large niche market, I don't think that he could have kept going for the next 5 or 10 years. So I think this might even be good for him and a wake-up call for him to shake it up a little bit. He's very opinionated. So in that case, I encourage him to use his freedom on his own platform. And this is one of the reasons why I turned down networks when I graduated from university. I had a chance to go to three, one was online, but I had 3 or 4 different job offers, and I could have went to 3 media outlets, and I decided that, hey, you know what, I don't think I want to, because I do think if I start, I will amount to great heights. I do think in Canadian media I have a shot, but if I do that and anything happens, I have a great chance of getting fired. Look at Evan Solomon, reporter at the CBC, who was fired for selling artwork. You look at Don Cherry, he's been here for a long time, he was fired like that. We look at ᴍᴜᴜᴛɪ, he's another scenario. I'm not going to pull a Ġion, but ᴍᴜᴜᴛɪ was fired. I'm not talking about what they've done. I'm just telling you that if you do something that goes against the outlet in any way or perceives to lower the image of your employer, you're probably going to be fired. And come on, I'm not an ᴑᴜᴜ. Maybe I'm not going to do anything crazy, but I know for a fact, working with brands and working with people's reputations as a living, that your reputation goes like this. It's never going to be a straight linear path. So there's always going to be a convenient time, or a time where your employer is going to at least think about maybe firing you. And I don't want to be in that position. Maybe I make 500 videos, maybe I only get 100 views on certain videos, but I know for a fact if I do this for the next 20, 30 years, I build my own platforms, I'm going to have a better chance at being able to sustain it. It's going to be hard to take it down if I own everything. So that's what I've been doing. Obviously sad that Don Cherry was fired. I don't think it's nice to lose your job, especially in that time in your life. But things happen, and I think he could have went about this better. I do think that you can't just be haphazardly shouting things on television. And if you're gonna do that, then at least do it in an articulate way. Do it in a compelling way. Do it in a way where you pull up facts instead of accusing people with bumbling, stumbling language. So that's my insight. Was it un-Canadian? Perhaps a little bit. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about Don Cherry being fired? What do you think about this whole thing? What school of thought are you siding with? Do you think what he said was absolutely fine, or do you think it has, some dangerous aspects to it? Do you think it's somewhere in the middle? Let me know. And also, if you want news in Canada, be sure to subscribe and smash that notification bell. I make videos about Halifax, all of Canada. I'm traveling the world right now, so content for Canadians, it's all here. Thank you for watching.